The Saints, they've got picks 9 and 62 in the draft. This is for a team that is looking to focus on the draft in the upcoming November period, Ralphie. What sort of trade period did they have? We didn't really hear much about them, did we?
They literally did nothing. So they were really keen on Tristan Xerri, and we've already talked earlier in the show about why he would have been a really handy backup at the very least. So as you say, their draft hand in 9, 62, 67, 60, 66 and 67. They haven't improved that. They have that single pick in the 60s. They might potentially, before the national draft, trade a future first or a future second to get back into there. They're so excited about so many of their injured players who they believe if they have full years, they will clearly have some natural improvement. But I think if you're a St Kilda fan, you think, I would have liked you to have seen something. Bring in one young speculative player that might have some upside, or get a pick 20 in that you can be excited about as a draft pick.
Yeah, like they speculated with Cooper Sharman, mid-season pick, and look how great he's been. I mean, they've made mistakes since 2018 of going to the well with these 30-year-olds, Sam Rowe and Ryan Abbott and Frawley McKernan, Mason Wood, that they probably, if they'd have just speculated on some, 19, 20-year-old rookies, you only got to jag one or two that turn out to be elite, and you're in a strong position. It's a strange one, the St Kilda list, because their list profile is for the now. Their window is for the now, but I don't think they're good enough now. Yeah. So I think they need to step back a little bit. They need to go to the draft. They need to find some more talent and have a bit of patience. I think they overreached. I think they were trying to be a bit optimistic and going and grabbing Hanbury and Hill and Crouch when they probably weren't ready. I think now they just need to take a bit of time. Couple of year window. The problem is it leaves them with only a really small window, because in 2 or 3 years' time, their best players, Steele and Membry and Marshall and all those guys, are all going to be towards close to 30. Yep. So it's a small window for them. They've got themselves in this pickle, and they need everything to go right if they're a chance to win a premiership in the next 3 to 4 years.
They don't have a window. They don't have a window. I'm sorry.
Well, no window
optimistic.
Look, I know. I know you're St Kilda great, but look, I just think that this has been a construct that no one else would have put together in this fashion. I couldn't be as bullish on this list or even contending in 2 years' time as what others are. Where are their stars coming from? Where are their top liners coming from?
Just look at that best and fairest list. That best and fairest list right there. So Steele 26, Sinclair 27, Membry 27, Wilkie 25, Crouch and Hill 28. That's the concern. They're all in the sweet spot of their careers right now, but they're not a top 4 team right now.
Well, Gresham was injured all year.
That's right.
Max King is potentially going to be All-Australian.
That's why they need to be patient. They need to build it now of Gresham and King and Hunter Clark, but they've only got a small amount of that talent, where some other teams have got a lot more young talent on their list.
And what's really interesting about the Saints as well is Brett Ratton comes out of contract at the end of next year, and available is Alistair Clarkson, available is Nathan Buckley, and, available is Ross Lyon, and he might just actually suit this list, Joey.
I doubt they'll go Ross Lyon.
That'd be a story. But just talk about the list, though. The actual list build. Yeah. We've been sold that next year was their year. Yeah. The letter went out to the members. Next year's their year. So they can't keep sending letters every year.
Yep.
OK? So if next year's a year, well, let's see it. I don't believe it's there. I really don't. And that's a bit harsh to say, but I think they've had 4 top 30 picks in the last 4 years. So there's a void coming.
Yeah.
There's a gap coming that's chasing these 27, 28-year-olds you're talking about. If they're not contending in the next 2 years, then the gap arrives. Then you end up on the never-ending rebuild treadmill, and you just hover there. And I'm starting to worry that's where they are.
So Paddy Ryder played 12 games for them last year, or this year. He had some personal issues, but he also had some Achilles issues. Now, we know I think he's 35 next year. We thought about retirement. We know that Rowan Marshall's a very good forward/ruck, but he's not an amazing tap ruckman. Paul Hunter didn't necessarily cut the mustard. They haven't been able to identify and fix the main issue that saw them decimated in some games when they just got annihilated in the ruck.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe Peter Laddams would have been a target for St Kilda, because he is that second forward ruck that they could have worked in tandem with Rowan Marshall going forward. They still probably need some tall support for Max King. It's going to be a tough ask for St Kilda. Everything has to go right for them in the next couple of years to have a crack at being in that win. I think they can play finals next year. I just don't think they're good enough to be a top 4 contender, which is the issue, because you need to be top 4 to be in the window.
Joe, you know Saints fans better than anyone. They would hate to hear the phrase "the never-ending rebuild," because they've been through a lot.
Well, that was Kingy's phrase.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, we don't want to say these things, but if you're going to talk about each list comparatively, then they don't stack up favourably at all.
I completely agree with you.